Oh, yeah. Giving you a reason to enjoy your Tuesday today. This is the Fox Valley Voice. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening and watching. My name is Jaime Gutierrez. I'm going to be your host today. And co-hosting with me in the studio to my left, your right, Mr. Shehzad Merchant. What's up, Shehzad?
What's up, Jaime? How you doing?
I am doing fabulously. Thank you so much for joining us on the Fox Valley Voice, the only live YouTube talk show dedicated to the Fox Valley and all of the wonderful people, places, and events that happen therein. How'd that sound?
Sound pretty good.
I need to come up with a script. I say something different every time, but you know that's just how I roll. Do kids say that still? How I roll, or is that old?
I don't know. I'm 35.
You're still a kid.
Yeah.
You're just
kid at heart.
You're
Never grew up.
You're a pup. So Shehzad is joining us today. He has his own fitness center located in St. Charles. It's called Jazba Fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to talk a little bit about how you got into all that, and a little bit about your facility, and specifically we're going to talk about your upcoming 8-week challenge.
Yes.
That is going to benefit the schools of St. Charles District 303.
Hopefully we can get some people in there and have it work.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your history, your background, if you don't mind. Actually, you know what? Before we jump into that, I started doing something here recently. Mm-hmm. I've got all this list of icebreaker questions that have absolutely nothing to do with what we're here to talk about today.
Okay.
So I'm gonna flip.
Let's break some ice.
And I don't like that one.
Well, that was the whole point of the flip. You can't.
Okay. I want you to describe the location and 3 features of your dream home.
Location is St. Charles, for sure.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Out of everywhere?
Out of everywhere. And I've traveled to Australia, I've traveled to Pakistan, to Dubai. I've been in at least, 4 different countries in just the past 2 years. And even in those countries, very, very different places within them. St. Charles, unequivocally. And that's why I came and settled in St. Charles about a year ago after I came back from my travels. And the 3 features, do they have to be indoors or outdoors or however I want to describe it?
Anything that has to do with your dream home, yes.
That's so cool that you asked that, because I literally took pictures of that this past weekend at Scarecrow Fest. Okay. And I took a picture of the river where I like to go and sit and just look at the sky and stuff like that. The trees around this time of year are beautiful. You got orange, green, red. You don't get that in a lot of places in the world. Fall is my favorite time of year, so those trees have to be there. And the little houses, the way that they're built, and they're still there on the corner streets of St. Charles where people don't necessarily look. That's an awesome place just to walk down. So I took pictures of all these places, put it on my Facebook, but yeah, so those would be my 3 features and where I want to live.
So you just want someplace that's cozy, just a tiny little house. Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying those are the features of where I want to live.
Okay, so you want to be by the river?
Yeah.
Like, do you have to have a view of the river?
No.
No? Okay.
Just got to be in walking distance of something where...
Because I'm with you on that.
Right.
I love the water.
Sure.
If I could have a place that was either, within distance of the river or an ocean or something like that, I would definitely prefer that. No oceans in St. Charles, though. So
unfortunately, no.
Yeah, we're going to have to go with the river. And the trees and...
It's like the best of all the worlds, You got the trees, you got the river, you got the nice little houses, and if I can, have a little place around there, I'll be just fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep an eye out for you.
Sure. Let me know. I'm already there. I'm already in St. Charles, so it's perfect.
Okay. So that's a good icebreaker. Now, and also I should remind everybody who's listening and watching that you too can be a part of the show today. Just submit your questions and comments on our Facebook page. You can find us at facebook.com/Fox Valley Voice. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, just go ahead and submit a comment underneath the video there, and we will see it, and we will try to address everyone's questions and concerns. So Shehzad, where should we start? Obviously, you are a world traveler. We've learned already.
Recently.
Yeah.
More the last 4 or 5 years as opposed to before that. Never left Addison growing up.
Okay. So you grew up in Addison.
I grew up in Addison.
Okay. We won't hold that against you.
Very funny. Great little town. Called it home from when I was in preschool all the way till first couple years of college.
Okay.
So that was home for me.
All right. And then from Addison, where did you find yourself going to school?
Well, the journey takes a big twist because my whole first 20 years was nowhere else. Then I ended up working at NORC at the University of Chicago. Worked there as a supervisor. I worked in a couple of pizza restaurants, ran a couple of Subways, all over the place. And finally decided in 2006 that I had to go back to school. Went back to NIU, and DeKalb was my home for about 5 years at that point.
Okay.
3 years after that, I spent traveling, and it all had to do with one class that I took that got me interested in all this kind of stuff. And so after that, it was Pakistan, Dubai, Australia, primarily Pakistan, and back. Did that for 3 years, and met my fiance. It was time to come home.
Wow.
And yeah, it was like, wow, where do I go? Had to think of the perfect place to settle, and that became St. Charles.
Sure.
So yeah, a long journey, but all over and right back.
So what was the class that ignited your desire to travel the world?
Corruption in politics. I have a
corruption
degree, yes.
in politics.
I have a degree
and
in
that's
political
why
science.
You decided to settle in Illinois because there was plenty to
yeah, that's exactly it.
lots of material for you to study.
I could never stop studying, right?
Yeah.
No, that's not why I decided to settle back home. This was home. Everything else was kind of where I had been.
Mm-hmm.
But that's ironically why I got into training, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing this program. And it all had to do with starting to travel.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting part of this is when I started going out to these places, part of my job was to teach people about nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the questions that we came across in the field were kind of like, how do you solve this problem, or how do you solve that problem? And one of those problems was, well, there's people walking around with chickens running around everywhere. And when they cooked those chickens, they literally had to catch the chicken, kill the chicken, then feather the chicken, and, there was no Jewel or Dominic's or any other kind of grocery stores. So they would use their hands, bloodied with chickens, and they would touch the vegetables and touch all the stuff they're eating and they're cooking, and they would get sick.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, for us, common knowledge, right? You wash your hands, you keep your meat and your vegetables separate. For them, it wasn't. That was just one of the simple things that you had to go there and teach people about why not to get sick.
Okay.
But the people that I was working for were considerably overweight, sitting behind heavy desks in heavy chairs, and they were all out of shape.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the nutrition was one thing, but then I started training them with no equipment, with no weights, no machines. You were out in the middle of a field, and all what you had to do is train people.
Yeah.
So we had to figure out ways how to use body weight resistance, different types of techniques like kickboxing and yoga all incorporated, and that's how this all started. But that was how the training part of it started. And
you were working with who at the time?
Well, there was different companies, and some of them I'm not allowed to talk about because they were, we're not supposed to say who we were working for, where we were.
Okay, because you're a spy.
No, I wasn't a spy.
Sorry.
It was because I was contracted by certain companies, and the idea was that we were going in there as kind of a soft service or soft power to help with assistance and help people, as opposed to going in there and trying to spy on anybody.
Okay.
So,
wow, this is taking a mysterious turn.
Mm-hmm. And,
All right. So don't divulge any international secrets here, but but as a political science major, now all of a sudden you're out there talking about nutrition and fitness and training.
Okay, so there's a caveat to that too. I was really overweight in college. They have
how overweight?
I can show you.
Okay, so yes.
I have a little visual. You mind if I stand up?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
So, and these are known in the industry as your fat pants, right?
These are my good pants. These are my favorite pants.
Okay. So, yes. Those are much larger than you right now.
I think two of me could fit in this right now. Not comfortably, mind you, but two definitely.
It'd be hard to walk as well.
But
yeah. And you keep those around as a reminder of where you started, right?
No.
No?
No. I never took any pictures. In fact, the pictures I took and that were taken of me in college were usually with me hugging friends or behind somebody, or I'd have a book bag in front of me or something. So, because who I saw in the mirror or who I saw in those pictures wasn't me. The image of myself that I had, that wasn't me. That was somebody else. And I was ashamed, and it wasn't a shame as in like, oh, you should have taken care of yourself. It was just kind of this disbelief that can't be me.
Yeah.
So I didn't take any pictures, and the pictures I did take or were taken of me were taken behind other people.
You were camouflaging
Right.
yourself. Did you do that on purpose? Was that a conscious thing that you would do?
It became conscious, yeah. At first it wasn't. When I looked at those pictures, I was like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
And then it became a conscious thing where it's like, do I really want that picture taken of me? And I'm the kind of guy who's always in front of the camera. I like being loud. I like being heard. And it's not as in, oh, obnoxious, but more, I got something to say sometimes, so I want to be heard. But these pants, I found in my closet after I came back. And these aren't even my biggest pants. They were just my favorite pants I never threw out.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked at them, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I wore those. And these were my favorite ones. They're worn out. They're tethered at the bottom. I wore these everywhere. So I didn't keep them, but they stayed with me.
Okay.
And now it is a reminder.
So you got fit as you were out on your travels and training other people and doing the nutrition. Is that when you found your real self?
I think I found it in 2010. My mom came to visit for graduation. I graduated from NIU in 2010, and we were both climbing up a flight of stairs. And she looks at me, and I look at her, and neither one of us can breathe. She says to me, "You got fat." And I'm looking right at her, like, I'm the one who got fat. Look at you. And I didn't mean that personally, but it was just kind of this, like, I almost took that, it was like that wake-up call, like, wait a minute, And before that, I had every trainer in the book. I had a yoga-type instructor. I had the military boot camp guy. I had the guy at the gym that you got to pay $40, $50, $60 for a session, and it trains you and stands there and says, hey, walk on the treadmill for 20 minutes, and then he walks around and shows you how to pick up weights. I had every instructor in the book. I did every kind of diet in the book. Everything worked, but just for a little bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't a long-term fix. And as soon as I got off those regimens, or as soon as I got off the diet, next thing you know, I'm fat again, and worse. So when I saw my mom when I graduated, I went back to NIU to pursue my master's. But during that time, I took a lot of nutrition classes and a lot of classes in fitness and healthcare, and how to train in different ways. Not to do this in the field, but more just for myself. I wanted to know what I'm doing wrong. And that's what led to, I learned all this about nutrition. I have a political science degree. Where can we plug this guy in for work? And next thing you know, I'm working with a couple of NGOs, a couple of IOs that are basically telling me, hey, can you go out there and teach these people about healthcare, nutrition, and things like that?
There you go.
So one thing led to another, and it was perfect.
Okay.
So it wasn't expected, but it was for myself, and that's where it started.
But that's interesting that you were able to take these two, on the surface, they don't seem related, political science and nutrition and fitness, but you were able to bring them together and do something with these two different areas that you were passionate about.
Absolutely, yeah.
Huh. I like that. So, now you mentioned earlier that you met your fiancé?
Well, we're not, fiancé. We're together.
You're together.
We're committed. We're together. But I haven't given her a ring yet, and she's kind of mad, so I got to make sure I get her one.
Okay. Shout out. Hi, honey.
Hey, babe.
I certainly wouldn't want you to propose right now on the air, because that's something that you guys should probably share together. So you can wait on that. But where did you say that you met her?
In Pakistan.
In Pakistan.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
Very.
She didn't. When I met her, it was very hard to communicate, because I didn't speak Urdu very well or at all. Think about a 3-year-old trying to speak a language he's never spoken before, and she didn't speak any English. So it was one of those situations where, wait a minute, how do we even start to communicate, let alone, go on a date? And you're not allowed to go on dates in Pakistan because, you're just not. That's something that doesn't happen.
Right.
So now
very strict social rules and regulations.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so we're forced to either talk on the phone because we can't go on a date, or text message. Have you ever tried to text message in a different language?
No.
Right. It's not easy.
I mean, sometimes you accidentally hit the button that changes the language of your phone, and then all of a sudden it starts filling in strange words. But no, not on purpose.
This is even worse than that, because here I'm using English letters to figure out what other words sound like in different languages and put that together to make. And it was a nightmare. But
how did you figure it out then?
I kind of started to speak. She's learned English. And between the two of us, we're just kind of making the path work. We've been going out for over 2 years now, and super committed to each other in that sense. But both, it's just a different world, and I fell in love with it. It's awesome. So
now, is she here in St. Charles with you?
No,
or
no.
She's still in Pakistan?
We're still working on getting her here, and doing it the right way. And that's one of the things that's very important to me. She only has a 5th grade education.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I really encourage is that she go to college, because in America, you have all the opportunity in the world, but if you can't speak, if you can't communicate, if you can't learn how to get around, if you can't do simple math, then you're already 2 steps back. So she has a very good skill. She's an esthetician and a beautician. She does hair and makeup. She's been working since she was 12 years old. She knows what she's doing. She works in models and stuff like that, but you got to get the other side of it too. So that's part of the, education. Very important. And that's what we're working towards. So.
Well, good luck with that.
Thanks.
I mean, it sounds like you've got a couple of challenges, but it sounds like you're the kind of guy who's up for a challenge.
Well, you can look at a challenge 2 ways. It can be a pitfall, and if you fall in there, then it's a trouble. But you can also look at it like a mountain. And every step you take up higher, you just get a better view of what's ahead. So we're just walking that mountain. We're climbing up. Step by step.
Very, very healthy way of looking at it.
Sure.
So you came back after your work with the people around the world, and then what did you find yourself doing once you got back?
I found that, part of the reason I came back is because I saw half the world with a backpack and a mat, and it was a great experience. But you can't start a family like that. You can't start a life like that. I was already 33, and as soon as I met her, it was kind of like, hello, wake up. No more kidding around. It was a slap back to reality that I can't do this for the rest of my life. So I wanted to do exactly what I was doing over there. I helped a lot of people, including my mom. My mom, cholesterol medicine, high blood pressure, Lipitor, you name it, she's on all these different things. Couldn't walk a block, not if you paid her. My mom still goes running every single morning now.
Wow.
Because me and my mom did it together.
Yeah.
And I don't say my mom and I, me and my mom. It was one of those very personal things to me, and that's where it started, because I had a passion for it. When I grow up and I have kids, I'm not going to have kids until I'm at least 40. That means I'm going to have to be somewhere around 60 years old before I can take my kid out for a beer. I better stay real healthy.
Yeah.
But I also want my mom to be there to be playing with my little kids, not in a wheelchair. It's the last 10 years of her life, last 15 years of her life, where I don't want her to have to be like not able to feed herself, not able to move, hospitalized in a bed. Medicine will keep you alive. We've come so far with medicines and doctors and, the ability to repair the human body. But it's the quality of life. So this whole workout thing, this whole nutrition thing, it didn't start because, I should look good and get in shape. It started out with a passion. I want my mom to be there when my kids are 5, 10, 15 years old and chasing them around as opposed to wheeling behind them and screaming.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's an important mindset to have. It kind of goes along with what you were saying earlier about how you would follow a certain diet or follow a certain workout regimen, but then when it ended, you would go back. But if you have that kind of a long-term goal in mind, that's going to keep you doing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, that's the other thing, too, that it has to be something that's maintainable. It has to be something that's sustainable long-term, and it's something that has to fit in your lifestyle. Exercise and diet there's a lot of fads that go on, but unfortunately your life isn't a fad. You're not going to one day wake up and decide, I'm going to live a different life. It doesn't work that way. You start making small, minute changes every single day and make sure that those things are sustainable so that eventually when you get to where your goal is, you'll just see a bigger goal ahead of you further.
So then, when did you open up your own place?
We opened the doors September 22nd, 2013. So it's been a little bit over a year. Yeah.
All right. Congratulations.
Yeah. And I broke out of the red finally. So, with any other businesses, it takes a year. We're very fortunate, very lucky. Knocking on woods, we have a lot of great clients in there. So.
Okay. And this is Jazba Fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that located specifically?
It's on 1020 Cedar Avenue, Suite 208. Now, most people don't know where that is because it's a business center.
Okay.
It's a 900 square foot room inside of a business building. And we did that with a very strong purpose in mind. We didn't want to be a big gym. Avoid the, and sorry to anybody who wears this kind of stuff, but the short shorts or the big bulky guy with the big arms walking around staring at himself in the mirror. We don't even have mirrors in there.
Okay.
This is a very small place. We never train more than 4 or 5, maybe 6 people at a time because it's meant for just that. It's a very comfortable environment, very friendly environment, very supportive environment. It's not supposed to be where people come in and they're picking up big, huge, hulky weights or standing on a treadmill for an hour and a half eating carrot sticks. That's not how it works. You're in there half an hour, you hit it hard, and you're done.
Okay. What's it by? Where's Cedar Avenue? Is it over by Randall?
No, it's actually between Randall Road and Kirk Road. It's halfway in between. It's on 11th Avenue, so 11 blocks away from downtown St. Charles.
Okay.
So Main Street or Riverside, it's maybe 3 blocks outside of downtown St. Charles, 11 blocks away from the river.
Okay. All right. So it's you're within the reach of a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fairly populous area, St. Charles. Now, maybe it is a good time to bring up a question that was submitted earlier today from Julie Ferris. Hi, Julie.
Hey, Julie.
Julie asks, Shehzad, what makes your workouts so unique, and what body changes will someone see after 8 weeks? So this is a good time maybe to bring up the 8-week challenge. You're asking people to do what now? Okay,
so I'm going to answer Julie's question first.
Go for it.
And then we'll talk about the 8-week challenge because I think it's really important what we're trying to do. Julie's question was, what do you see and what makes it unique? One of the most unique parts about this kind of workout is I'm not necessarily concerned about weight loss. A lot of people have this weight loss thing in their head that I'm going to lose weight, I got to lose weight, I got to lose weight.
Right, and it's usually a very specific number, right? Like,
right.
I want to lose 20 pounds.
And, they get on the scale, and that scale drives them nuts and all those things. My biggest concern is I really don't care how much you lose. I want you to feel comfortable in your skin, in your body. And it doesn't matter if you lose 1 pound or 15 pounds. If you're dropping inches, if you have good muscle tone, if you get your strength up, if you have better posture because your shoulders are stronger and your legs hurt less and your back hurts less, that's what I want to see in this 8 weeks. So we're unlike other gyms, unlike other fitness facilities, unlike where it's like drop 20 pounds in 8 days. None of that. Nothing ridiculous.
Okay.
No false promises, no goofball like gimmicks or ads or anything like that. This is straight up, give me 8 weeks, I'm going to get you in the best shape of your life in that 8 weeks that I can. And that's our primary goal. Okay. So it's, very different than what other people promise. What makes it unique is that the style of fitness is completely different. A lot of people focus on strength training, great, total proponent of that. A lot of people focus on cardiovascular training, great, awesome proponent of that. A lot of people are focusing on fat loss, yeah, so am I. A lot of people focus on flexibility, endurance, so am I. So you're hearing this a lot of put together. We actually do 2 weeks of hardcore conditioning. Then we go to 3 weeks of strength training. Then we go to a week or 2 of body sculpting and cutting. All along, we use kickboxing, we use yoga, we use resistance training, we use high-intensity interval trainings. We put it all together in a format. And the best part about it is you're out of the gym in less than 35 minutes.
Okay.
You come in there, you got less than 35 minutes to get out of there. That means there's no excuses. You can fit that in every single day. And it's 5 days a week as opposed to just once. A lot of the trainers that you go and you work out with, they'll make you work out for an hour and a half. Great. I'm glad that works for them. I can't hit you that hard every single day and expect you to go for an hour and a half. You'll collapse. So what I want is the best half hour of your day to be with me.
Okay.
Every single day. You're going to get that. You're going to feel motivated. You're going to feel encouraged. You're going to feel happy. And your endorphins are going to kick in. It's all part of exercise. When those endorphins kick in, it's a great feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the best half hour of your day. That's the way I look at it.
Okay. Now, in that half hour, do you do a mixture of all that stuff, or
like I said, there's a definite plan.
So just if you go in, you're going to do strength training, and that's it for that particular session, or do you try to mix it all in, where you like lift some weights and then run on a treadmill and then do some stretches?
So part of it is there's days where we focus on just strength training. There's days where we'll focus on a combination of total body workout. There's days where we'll focus on things that are nothing more than cardio. There'll be no strength in there. But it's all based into what part of that training session you are. So when we do our conditioning, we don't do a lot of strength training during our condition. The idea is to get our heart rate up, try to get your bloods to be able to, or your muscles to be able to absorb more oxygen quickly. So we'll focus on something less. There's still resistance training twice during that week, but 3 days is built on flexibility and endurance and cardiovascular training. When we go to our strength training, now you're doing 4 days of weights, but they're not heavy. The idea is that you have to get your muscles to get into a level of fatigue, and then when you're lifting or resisting, doing resistance training, something called hypertrophy happens. Your muscles start working, and they start building layers on layer. So although we're not using heavy weights, a lot of it is body weight resistance, 5, 10, 15 pounds, maybe push-ups, things like that. People are just like, wow, I can't believe I got that kind of pump with just doing this. So it depends on which week you're at. It's a very scientific approach to it. You're not just going out there and randomly running and then doing weights and doing this. There's a reason for every single step. And, a lot of people ask me right there, can I do this? Is this for me? If you go look on our webpage, or even on our Facebook page, we have a gentleman, his name is Fred Ray. I asked permission to mention him and talk about him today. He came in with a triple bypass.
Mm-hmm.
Post triple bypass, he was not allowed to work out. The doctor had put him on a 1,500 calorie diet to lose weight. Fred has actually lost almost 2 pant sizes. Okay, his heart rate gets up to 135. We used to need to use a heart rate monitor on him. We can't get his heart rate up anymore, not that high, because he's that in shape. He's gone from a 42-inch to a 38-inch. He's looking great, and he's only dropped 12 pounds. Because muscle weighs so much more than fat, that once you start building muscle, it'll start replacing the fat.
Okay.
So, if he can do it, most anybody can do it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Post triple bypass, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at what point does diet enter? Do you work with your clients in terms of what they're eating, what they're not eating?
I do, and I completely forgot about that. I haven't told you. There's a book I just self-published.
Oh.
It came out. It's 97 pages. It's not that long. And it's interesting because what I did is I logged every single thing I ate. And then I turned around and said, okay, I don't like quinoa. I really don't. I don't like kale. Spinach is tolerable at times. And I'm looking through all the stuff that I don't like to eat. And then I went through all these diet books thinking, okay, I'll find recipes and look this and that. And honestly, I'm such a picky eater. I really am. And I'm not going to go out there and buy $60 worth of ingredients for one meal and then try to put it together. And now, oops, what do I do? Because I'm done for the rest of the week. So what I did is I took everything from local grocery stores in St. Charles, all within 5 miles of me. I spent no more than, and this, I wrote this last year, so it was $50 a week. This year groceries are more expensive, so it would still go up to $60 a week. But in $60 a week, I bought all my groceries. I listed every single thing between a 1,700 and 1,800 calorie portion per day that you have to eat. There's 5 or 6 meals per day. Plus, get this, each one of those is a 40% protein, 40% carbohydrate, 20% good fat mix that you eat throughout the day. And it includes things like cereal, milk, just your normal everyday foods. You don't have to go and buy anything special for it. Any person can do this. There's even lean cuisines in there because, I don't know, I used to get lazy and that's what my cheat meal was, so I went for it.
Yeah.
And that's, so anybody can do this. So,
okay.
And that book is included when you do the 8-week fitness challenge. So you get the book, you follow along, you got the recipes, no more than 20 minutes of preparation and cooking a day.
Wow. Are you selling that online as well, or?
No, I'm not selling it. This is only for people who are going to do the challenge.
Okay.
If you come into my studio and if you come and work out, this is for you.
It seems like you should be selling it on Amazon. Maybe you become A huge fitness guru.
It might be the next step, but let's see, one step at a time, right?
How do you feel? Okay, so
8-week challenge?
yeah, we should probably talk about the 8-week challenge. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm definitely ready.
Okay.
I describe what we do in the 8-week fitness challenge in terms of the workouts with conditioning and resistance training and all that. But the reason this one in particular is so important is every year I do something really big to give back. Last year, I trained people at Lazarus House, and I connected with 4 or 5 local businesses to help these people get back on their feet.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was going to print their resumes. Excel Driving School, I'll name them out because they were offering something huge. They were willing to give one of those people at the shelter lessons to become a driving instructor and then give them a job.
Wow.
Right. So we hooked up with 5 or 6 different local businesses, and I went there and trained, and we were very fortunate where we had a couple of people who did very well during the training. We didn't charge. We didn't advertise. This was just to give back. And you take care of where you live. The places where I've been and what I've seen, just deplorable places. You couldn't stand living there or being there for more than a day. Changed who I was as an individual.
You mean when you were traveling around the world?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And coming back home, you realize you have to take care of where you live. It's your responsibility. So this is my way of giving back. And so the 8-week fitness challenge is pretty simple. For every 5 people that sign up, we give $1,000 to District 303 to the school of their choice. It started because a couple of my friends who are teachers, they were complaining how they get very little for their budget for their classrooms for a whole year. My friend Ashley, she teaches in Aurora, got less than $100 for an entire school year budget for her classroom. $100?
Right, and they have
what are you going to do with that? You get your construction paper and you're done?
Yeah.
Like, how do you possibly take care of that? So this is an idea to give back. Let's give our teachers a step up. Let's give them a chance to actually be able to take care of the kids and, be funded for doing it. So and we give back big. At $12 a session, if you do 20 sessions in a month, that's 4 weeks. It's only $240. Okay? If I'm giving back $1,000 for every 5 people, that's very little we're keeping. Almost everything is going back to the school at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So when you give big. You don't just do it for marketing. You don't do it for those kinds of purposes. You let people pay back to their community too. So when you come in and you do this, you're not just doing it for yourself. You are literally doing it for the school kids too. And that's the idea behind the 8-week challenge. That's what makes it so important.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's extremely generous and thoughtful. And so, have you sent this information to all the schools in St. Charles?
We're getting the word out. We got approval maybe a week and a half ago when I contacted you a week ago, and we're trying to get the word out as quick as possible because it starts October 20th. That's less than a week away.
Next Monday.
I know, and we're racking her. So
yeah, I think every school child in St. Charles needs to have a flyer sent home, right? So mom and dad can see it.
Yeah,
saying sign up for the 8-week challenge at Jazba Fitness and St. Charles.
Could be cheaper if we just emailed it to them, but they got to look.
Well, yeah.
So,
I'm not saying you print the flyers. I'm saying the schools. You don't have any kids yet, but when you do, and they go to school, what you'll find is that every day they come home from school, there's about 30 flyers in their backpack.
Okay.
About this thing or the other. So, they're in the business of sending home paperwork. So whoever your contact is at the district, I would suggest calling them up and asking them if they'd be willing to send something home.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only problem is we got to cap this at 40. I can't take any more than 40 people.
Well,
and that's a start, which is, sure. I mean, at 40 people, that's a lot of people. But, we figure that if we're going to do it, we're going to do it, right. Yeah. And so we keep it limited to make sure that everybody's taken care of the right way, too. But,
well, we need to get you to 40. How many you got so far? Not 40, right?
Yeah, we only started a week ago.
Okay, all right then. That's what I'm saying. Let's
get people knowing about this. Yeah,
max it out.
Sure.
And then when you have a huge response on this one, then down the road you do another one, and
we'll see how it works. We're planning another one, but not necessarily for the school. Maybe for the library or for Special Olympics or for a couple other people.
You got to spread the love.
Absolutely. And like I said, every year we do something big. And this is between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that's exactly, I mean, it's a season to do it. I'm a huge fan of Christmas.
Okay.
I know I don't really fit the stereotype for Christmas type, but it's my favorite holiday of the year, and it's the best feel-good time. I love winter, and so that's when you should give back, I think.
That's a good point. And I think people are a little more willing at this time of year as well.
Sure.
Plus, Thanksgiving and Christmas, as far as all the eating and all that goes.
Oh, yeah, this fits in perfectly.
Yeah, it's a good time to help give people the tools in order to remain fit during this time of year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and don't forget my donuts.
Donuts
are very important.
A very important part of the of your fitness regimen.
No, they're very important. They're very important to tell you that, look, you know, anything you do and everything you do, you got to take it seriously, but not to a point where it's going to kill you. So when I came in this morning after my training sessions, I stopped for donuts, and we were talking on the phone. You're like, wait, donuts?
Donuts?
Yeah. Well, you got to have some love. You got to have your cheat days. You got to have the things that you want. And sometimes you need to eat in order to bulk up and get some muscle.
Okay.
So Thanksgiving, Christmas, perfect time to get your food in, bulk up, and then start losing in January. So we can make it fit right with everything else you're doing. It fits your lifestyle. You just got to find a way to make it fit.
So you're saying there's no need to beat yourself up if you enjoy certain things that aren't typical health type
Absolutely.
foods.
If you're miserable, but you're doing something for a goal, but you're miserable doing it, you're not going to stick with it.
Right.
You got to enjoy yourself a little now and then too. Big fan of cheat meals.
I think I'm with you, but I think also you really have to know what point you can get to. You know, you got to draw the line. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because now, personally, your visit today comes at a very interesting time for me because I've my cheat days have turned into cheat weeks.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
maybe over the past 6-8 months or so, and so sadly, I find myself about 20 or so pounds over where I.
You know, I know this great studio in
Usually
St.
am. Is
Charles.
that right?
It's only like 15 minutes away. Right.
But but the thing that had worked for me for the past 3-4 years or so was I tried to follow the like a primal / paleo lifestyle, and that worked out pretty well. And then all of a sudden, I started reintroducing certain things that I had limited, mainly pizza and ice cream.
That's a good diet.
Yeah. And then
How's it working for you?
And then beer, because you can't have pizza without beer.
Sure.
And then lots of cheese.
Okay. So I'm getting this message that. All right.
So yeah, I fell off the wagon in a big way, but here just recently, I'm trying to rededicate myself in terms of trying to get back on the horse here.
You fell off the wagon. Now you want to get on the horse?
Yes, off the wagon on the horse.
That's a good way to do it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
so here's my thing with this.
Yeah.
Right. Here's my shtick.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 30 years, 40 years, if you go and look at food pyramids at Elite Library, just go and look up public records, go look up school textbooks, look up the food pyramid. You'll see everything at the bottom change constantly. First, it was you have to eat your meats. I mean, you watch a Brady Bunch back in the day, and Alice is always, talking to the butcher and getting meat, and they're all eating red meat. And then we went away from all this red meat to, oh my God, we have to eat pasta. When I was in school in the 90s, you had 6 groups. You had to have 6 grains a day. Come back now, no, gluten evil, and this evil, and that evil, and now you can't have bread and pasta and rice, and all that stuff is bad. And it's a constant change. Chuck Weider back in 1981 wrote a book. He was very upset at what people were using his name for. Chuck Weider, by the way, is the godfather of bodybuilding. He was Arnold's coach. Okay? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Anyway, he wrote this book. It says, I'm going to let the secret out of the bag. It's very simple. You got to eat, you got to eat, and you got to eat. You got to eat 40% of your food from protein. But each meal, your body can't digest more than 30 grams at a sitting. All these people are on these extremely high protein diets, and your body can't absorb more than 30 grams? That's like eating 2 chicken breasts. What are you doing with the rest of it? Where's it going? Why are you doing that to yourself? Then he says you got to eat a lot of carbs. Good carbs, fast release carbs, and slow carbs. Fast release, that's your sugars. That's your pineapples, that's your mangoes, that's your fast release carbs. Why are we eating those? Because your body needs it. The reason it needs it is because it helps your adrenal gland relax. It's not stressed out. So your body then says, oh, we can start letting go of some of the fat because we have the fast carbs coming in quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, you got to eat sugar to lose weight? How's that working? All right, so that's all part of this. But you got to eat your slow carbs, your ones that give you energy over long term, your wheat, your rye, stuff that has niacin, B7, all these essential vitamins that you need. When you stop eating carbs, your body stops creating ghrelin. Ghrelin is responsible for burning fat. So is leptin. Leptin. Leptin, helps your body burn fat. You stop eating carbs, no more leptin, you're still storing fat. That's why when you see people come off of like the high protein diets and they eat a carrot stick, all of a sudden they go, right? So all these little things are so essential to your body, and people keep tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it, looking for that shortcut. There really is no shortcut. If you're going to eat a donut once in a while, that's okay. But if 6 days out of the week, 5 days out of the week, you're hitting it hard in the gym, and you keep a track of your diet in the sense that you're eating well, you can go have a turkey sandwich. That's okay. You can have a glass of milk. That's okay. You can eat well throughout the day. Just look at what you're eating. Be sensible about it. And then on the weekends, if you want to have your cheese, beer, pizza, concoction mix that you probably put in a blender.
Yeah, just mix it all together.
And that's what I'm imagining, sitting with a blender, throwing pizza and beer. And yeah, if you want to do that on the weekend, man, it's weekend warrior. That's fine. Throw some of my donuts in there with it too. But 6 days out of the week, if you're going to eat fine and be healthy and you're going to take care of yourself the other day, it's okay. Let it go.
Okay.
And so that's the whole theory behind the diet.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I pretty much got used to doing now the paleo thing is not total high protein like the other one, Atkins.
Oh no, paleo is really cool in the sense that you don't eat anything that wasn't around 1,000 years ago.
Right.
So it's going back to organic.
Yeah, well,
going back to all natural.
Which is natural, non-processed stuff.
Sure. And nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. The problem is that all of a sudden I decided that I needed something crunchy.
Well, Fred Flintstone did have pizza, if I remember, for one of the episodes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Excellent. It is now on the paleo list.
There you go.
Anything else, Shehzad, that we need to address here today in terms of the challenge, your facility? Tell me a personal story, and you don't have to use names, but the stories that I like to hear are the ones where real people come in, experience some kind of a really positive impact on their life. Do you have something like that of someone that you've worked with here over the past year?
Absolutely, I do. I told you about Fred, the one with the triple bypass. Yeah. He was actually one of my first clients. But I have a group of people now. It's a mom, her daughter, and her father. She's getting ready for her wedding. The mom is working very hard towards getting a certain goal for her daughter's wedding. She's getting ready. And it's that same story where she wants to be the most important thing in her life, more than her husband, more than all her other family, is her kids. Her kids come first to her. And she's made that known. And she's one of those proud mamas who's always running around talking about how wonderful her kids are. And they are. But they all come and work out together. First, it was just the mom and daughter. Then the dad joined in. Now one of the dad's friends joined in. And there's a whole group, a whole family working out together every single day. Mom has dropped 2 dress sizes in 18 weeks. That's huge. Okay. The daughter dropped a dress size in the first 4 weeks. She was only 26, and that happens quickly for her. But it's not even about the dress size. It's not about the weight. The fact that every single day they spend time together as a family, and they come in there and they work out, and they joke and they laugh. And one of the things I asked them, are you close? Are you guys doing it? And they're very close, but they just don't get that time together. And this is one of those ways where the entire family works out, and they're all sitting and enjoying a workout together. So it's almost become like a family activity. And that's an awesome feeling that when they leave, it's like, bye, family. I feel like I'm adopted in the group or something.
Yeah.
But I see them every day, and it's great.
So they've turned it not only into a situation where they are working on their health and increasing their fitness level, but they're spending time together as a family doing it. Yeah.
And you should hear some of the jokes that come out of there. I'm not allowed to say them online.
Okay.
That's over there. But, you know...
So they feel comfortable is what
absolutely,
you're saying.
yeah. And they can let their guard down because, again, we only train 4 or 5 people, 6 maximum at a time. And because it's just them, because it's just their family, they can, you know, and they're lifting weights. And, you know, when things get hard, oh, shut up. I'm doing it. I got it. Very motivating each other. Come on, babe. Come on. You got this. You got this. And it's this great feeling of seeing a group of people, you know, mom's, I want to say early 50s, daughter's 26, dad's got to be early 50s. So you have 3 different demographics, 3 different groups, and they're all there with each other. The aunt and the mom are about 10 years apart, and all different fitness levels, but they're all doing the same workouts at their own pace, their own level, and they're all getting something out of it. It's just awesome. It's a really feel good time.
Sure, and you know they're much better off spending that time together, you know, working out at your facility instead of watching, you know, America's Idol or
Biggest Loser. You watch somebody else do it as opposed to doing it yourself. Why don't you get up and do it yourself?
Yeah.
And so,
what? How do you feel about a show like Biggest Loser? I mean, I don't know if you watch it or not. I personally don't, but I mean, I get the idea. They take these people who are really super out of shape and try to whip them into shape in a short period of time.
I used to watch it to make myself feel better. I'm not gonna lie. When I was in those pants, I used to watch it. And like, at least I'm not that guy. At least I'm not that guy. At least I don't have to go. And when I started working out, I was like, oh my God, I am that guy. Right? So while I was a fan of it, watching in that way, I don't believe that it's the healthiest choice. Take a year, take a 2-year, take a 3-year, but make it a part of your lifestyle. If you notice on the show, a lot of people gain that weight back.
Yeah.
A lot of people have those challenges come back to them. And it's very disheartening when that happens. You know, you work so hard towards a certain goal, you get to that goal, and then it comes back, it crushes you.
Right.
So take your time. Do it the right way. You know, don't go to any extreme.
Right, because
fit what suits you.
I'm sure as soon as the cameras turn off, you know, they're not going to be following you down the road, making sure that you maintain that fitness level, right? They're just they've used you up for entertainment purposes, and now
you're done.
Yeah,
well, that's the
get
other
outta here.
thing with Jazba Fitness. The reason we did this, by the way, the word's not Jazba.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I saying it wrong?
No, you're not. Everybody says it Jazba because that's how it's spelled.
What is it?
It started with Jazba. Jazba is the Urdu word for passion. It means a drive that is not going to be stopped by anything. A motivation, something you not die for, something you live for, something you strive for. So the word Jazba, right. In, you know, translating the language or turn into Jazba, it's not jazzercise or Zumba or anything of that sort. And we don't do anything like that. But the word literally means something that you live for, a passion that you move towards. And so, you know, I'm very passionate about my life right now. And the reason is I have a lot of good things going for me. I've made a great network of people in St. Charles. I don't feel like my family's not there. They're here with me every single day because of the people that I know. And that sort of network, that sort of passion to live, that sort of passion to pay back is why we call it Jazba Fitness. Jazba, right. So
okay,
that's where that started from.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
I should have checked with you first.
It's Jazba.
Jazba.
Yeah.
How do you feel about now? There's a lot of publicity and a lot of attention being paid to a certain style of fitness here over the past couple of years called CrossFit.
Okay.
How do you feel about CrossFit?
All right. So my only concern with CrossFit is safety. I've had 2 broken necks and a broken back. And a lot of those exercises that we do have the potential to injure you seriously. Like when you take huge bars across the back of your neck and you're doing lunges with them and walking. It's a great exercise for your legs, no question about it. But do you really need to do it that quickly and that hard that could something seriously injure you? I've had injuries even in our training. And you have, you know, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. I have insurance for that purpose. And we haven't had to use any of that insurance because nobody's gotten seriously injured. When you're doing heavy stuff like that, you have the potential of being seriously injured long term. Our whole main focus and goal is not to be able to, you know, climb a rope in 2 seconds. Realistic in life, you're never going to need that. But if you can go run up a hill, here's a story I can share with you. One of my clients, post-cancer, and because of all the medication and things, lost a lot of curvature in her back, lost a lot of muscle strength, wasn't able to run up and down the street with her kids or with her husband. And her husband, man, I'm scared of this guy. He's got arms the size of my forehead. You know, these things are huge, right? Very intimidating guy.
Okay.
Nicest guy in the world, don't get me wrong. But the first time I met him, I'm like, you know, just like, it felt like a little mouse in front of him. She texted me over the summer. She goes, I'm so happy I was riding a bike with my husband after 8 years. Okay. She was able to ride a bike. So although CrossFit's great, and it's, you know, if a lot of people feel good about it, go do it. I'm not going to, I think everything's cool. You know, if you like running, a lot of people say, don't run. No, if you like running and you get the rush, go do it. If you like certain diets and it works for you, go do it. But just don't hurt yourself, because once you hurt yourself, you got to spend time out, and it just recharges the whole thing. We do some pretty intense stuff, but nothing to the point where, you know, you're going to get injured. So that's my only problem with CrossFit.
Okay. Because that is part of the news about CrossFit, is that it encourages people perhaps to go beyond their natural limits because of the competition aspect of it, right? Because that's kind of their thing, is that they're all competing against one another for a better time or a higher weight, right?
Well, I want you to think about high school. Remember all your friends in high school, and like when they were all on the baseball team or the softball team or the football team or whatever they're on, and while they were in high school and they were all competing, they were all in pretty good shape. 5 years pass, when they're no longer competing, what happens? They blow up. Okay? Part of the reason we do this at Jazba is because you're not competing with anybody. What you're doing is your focus changes to a self-motivated kind of thing. When you're competing with others, it's great because it does give you motivation to lift and, you know, be able to pick up stuff and run faster and all that kind of stuff. But what happens when the competition's gone? Are you going to do any one thing for the rest of your life? With Jazba Fitness, the whole concept is not about that. It's about yourself. So the motivating factor is yourself. If you want to compete with yourself, go for it. But you don't have to compete with anybody else. The motivation comes from within, as opposed to having to. Once your competition goes away, you're still with yourself, and it's very self-driven. The other thing about that too, and I should bring this up, a lot of gyms charge memberships, and they have residual memberships where, you know, you pay your initial dues, and then every month they charge you a certain amount, and you have a contract. We don't have a contract.
Okay.
We don't have an enrollment fee.
Okay.
We don't have a membership fee. You just pay for what you're working out for. That way, we've had a bunch of people who come in for 8 or 12 weeks. They do the cycle. They get to their goal. They leave. They come back 3-4 months later and say, hey, I want to do it again. But you're only paying for what you're working out for. The point's not, you know, we're not in it for just the money. This is something where, again, it's part of your lifestyle. And if this fits your needs, come in. So we don't want to charge just these residual fees where you don't go to the gym, you don't work out. When you come here, there's no machines. There's no treadmills. There's no ellipticals. There's no bicycles. You come in, you do your workout, and that's what you're paying for. So that's the other part of it.
That's nice, because I think a lot of people are hesitant to even get involved in a facility because they've heard all of the horror stories over the years. And that's not a new thing, as far as, you know, people having a complete nightmare once they sign a contract to go to a gym or a health club or something like that. You know, they're notorious for...
Well, we did a little survey just for curiosity's sake, because one of my clients said, you charge way too much. So I'm like, all right, why not? Whatever. So we went to all the local gyms and we started just doing, hey, if I want to get a trainer, how much is it going to cost me? The cheapest one we found was if you buy a 10-pack, and it was $400. That means you get 10 training sessions at $40 a piece if you buy all 10. The average was $60. What you would go and you would pay for one training session, you're going to get a whole week with me.
Yeah.
And the whole point is that it needs to be sustainable. If you're only going and working out once a week and you feel like, oh, yeah, I did it, woo, you know, what's going on the other 6 days a week? Your body's going to atrophy. Come on, get up and move every single day. I'm sure you've read those articles where they say you got to move half an hour every day.
Yeah.
They're pushing that for the kids. Why aren't they pushing that for the parents? Why aren't people getting up and moving themselves half an hour a day? And why not do it in a session, in a place where you're comfortable, where it's guided, so there is direction, where you're just not randomly going off and moving in something. You're actually doing it for each individual body part for different purposes and getting yourself fit.
Yeah.
So that's the whole concept.
And then are you making sure that if these people come in and they're working out every day, then each day is a different area that they're working on? Because,
when you start, you get a calendar.
Yeah.
And the calendar walks you through the 2 weeks of conditioning. Then it walks you the 3 weeks of strength training. Then it walks you to the 2 weeks of sculpting. And then has the last week where you focus on the individual body part that you're worried about, if you want to, or whatever purpose you're worried about. They can even take that home with them and do it by themselves. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely up to you. But because everything is guided, and because every day is a different workout, in the entire 8 weeks, you only repeat the same workout 3 times.
Okay.
That's it. So in 8 weeks, you're only going to do the same workout 3 times. So that's 40 sessions. Now that you only do one workout 3 times. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of change. So it never gets boring. Plus, Julie will tell you that when they sent the message, she has a lot of fun punching me. We do a lot of kickboxing. She gets me with the gloves.
You're the tackling dummy?
I'm the tackling dummy. Wow. Yes, you get to tackle me.
Well, you didn't say that earlier.
At the end of the workouts, they really want to let me have it. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Come here, let me punch you. All right, you got it. So
okay. So if you are out there and you're listening and you're watching and you want to get fit or fitter, more fit. Is fitter a word? Fitter? More fit. Sure. And remember, there's the component here during this upcoming 8-week challenge, which begins next Monday, October. What is it?
20th.
Monday, October 20th is when the next 8-week challenge starts. A very large portion of your fees will be going to the schools of St. Charles District 303 to help the teachers pay for materials and things like that. Give us the best way to get a hold of you, Shehzad, again.
855 Jazba Fit.
855.
That's toll free. Jazba Fit.
Jazba
Fit, right. But we can't have the U in there because it's an A now. So it's 529-2234.
Okay, and the website is
www.jazbafit.com. And email address is jazbafit@outlook.com.
There you go. And they can also be found on Facebook. Lots of updates there, before and after pictures. Lots of motivational stuff there. And then also don't forget the your guide to nutrition and eating.
And you get that when you come in. That's exclusively at Jazba Fitness because you're not going to get that elsewhere.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Shehzad, for coming in today and laying it down for us.
Thank you for having me, Henry.
And you let us know the next time you're going to be doing something that the people need to know about because, we are here for you.
Really appreciate it. Right.
And thank you to our listeners and viewers as well. Make sure that you take a moment right now to like us on Facebook or subscribe to us on the YouTube. Next week, we've got another show coming up for you. The guys from the Whiff Lot are coming back to give us an update. Have you heard of the Whiff Lot?
I have not.
These are 2 young men who started up a wiffle ball field in Batavia.
Okay.
And now they are branching out. They have become they have started working with area park districts to spread the joy of wiffle ball.
Well, that's awesome because they're going to get out and play then. Get that movement. Awesome.
So you might want to, add wiffle ball to your array of physical activities.
Absolutely. Come and throw a wiffle ball at me. Get your arm working.
So come back for that next Tuesday. And we would also like to thank the friends of the show, Neighbors Magazines, published in St. Charles, Geneva, Batavia, and North Aurora. Keep an eye out for that. Coming in, let's see, that's getting delivered to mailboxes. The next issue is coming out early November, so that's going to be the holiday issue. Also, thank you to our video sponsor, Drendel and Jansen's Law Group. You can find them at batavialaw.com. And also thank you to Downtown Auroran Magazine. I think they have a brand new website that you can check out, downtownaurorian.com. And that's that. So we will talk to you next week. Thank you.